Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, Miyazaki Mansai. Thank you everyone for joining me in the live watch along yesterday. It was an incredible experience. I really enjoyed that play by play, little commentary interaction as well. Domo arigato minasan, really fun. Keen to do that more often. I'll give it a go. I'll let you know when the next one's coming up as well. Thank you for all the feedback as well. I've got to figure out how to get that clock and the live watch along kind of stats and backdrop in there, but all good, right? All good, really fun. So yes, Liverpool beat Burnley 3-1. Congratulations on prediction as well, my man. We are now back at the top of the table. Manchester City have to chase us all again, and you know what? The Premier League is in our hands. If we win every game, it's ours. Especially Manchester City having to go to Anfield as well. They've also got to play Arsenal. Their fixtures don't look easier than ours. I'm still pretty confident of the quadruple. I think we're favourites for all of it. Pending injuries, pending form and tactical ploys by Jurgen Klopp, I think we're really well placed. We out-Burnleyed Burnley. We scored 3 headers. In fact, they scored 1 header as well. All 4 goals were headers. And we got, 4 yellow cards? Off the top of my head, Diogo Jota, Jurgen Klopp, Endo, and Darwin Nunez. Agent of Chaos. I love it. What a performance. Sometimes you just got to scrap in there because with the personnel on a pitch, sometimes you don't have that formula and that chemistry, and you've just got to make things happen in the right moments. Let's go through quick player ratings as well. So I'll compile some highlight clips from the watch along for anyone who didn't catch it anyway. Thank you everyone for donations as well. Mushroom Boy's getting a new Liverpool shirt. He'll be delighted with that. Let's go from the back. So Kelleher, what an outstanding performance. He saved our bacon on many times because he came out, closed the angles, he did a starfish shape. Reminds me a lot of Kasper Schmeichel back at Leicester, right? Really comes up, closes the space, closes the angle. Really good as a sweeper keeper. Distribution was really good as well. That goalkeeper kit looks absolutely lush. I give Kelleher a 7. Nothing he could have done about that bullet header from the corner. Sometimes delivery is just too good on the top of the head into the corner. Nothing you can do. O'Shea, great goal. Now let's go to right back. Trent Alexander-Arnold had a bit of a tough day. I think he's still trying to play his way back into form, coming back from the injury. Hasn't looked his old self, but he got an assist with the cross. Jota, underrated in the air, headed it in. They targeted Trent as well. The pace of the left wingers these days is really causing him an issue, and the absence of Ibu Konate's pace and covering. Diogo Jota did his best, did quite good, but it was a weak spot for us in the first half. In the first half we really didn't get going, and partly contributing to that would be the right hand side, which was McAllister and Trent, for example, and Jota in the right wing. Now Trent doesn't have a salad hit around the outside, and Jota can't have the same impact in terms of Mo Salah as a consistent dribbling threat, because even though he's got that silkworm dribble, he is more of a baller in close spaces as opposed to having space to drive and dribble and run past people. He's very good at slaloming. Slaloming, is that a word? That is a word, isn't it? Yeah, in and out. But on the right wing, he's a little bit more limited. You play Jota there for his penetrative running, his instinctive running, and his finishing. Obviously, he scored a headed goal, so no finishing in that regard. But Trent didn't have the outlet there, and with McAllister. So this is the thing about McAllister in the number 8 role. A lot of people wanted him to play there. He's got good through balls, but he has the same problem that Trent does in the midfield, in that everyone looks at his positive offensive capabilities and not his personal traits. So McAllister doesn't have the speed really and the close-knit technical dribbling ability of, let's say, a Soboslai. In terms of when he has to overlap to the right wing or when he goes into the right half space, he's kind of isolated. He has to go in and out. He's more of a passer from the right hand side. Like even Elliott is more tricky than McAllister in that right 8 slot, but he plugged away as well. So Trent coming back, I'll give him a 6 because, yeah, good endeavour. Came off injured at half time, clash on knees, but actually we looked more solid when Curtis Jones reverted to right back. And actually on the occasion, Robertson reverted to right back as well. Very interesting tactical ploy by Jurgen Klopp. Diogo Jota, solid, dominant in the air. The players really trust Quansah to get on the ball and distribute the ball and ping the ball around. It's fantastic to see. They've got great confidence in the kid. In fact, the whole team have confidence in Endo and Quansah to be the primary ball players from a static position. And what I mean by that is when we're building up, when the team are sitting back, Burnley obviously sat back 2 banks of 4, you give it to Endo to try to probe and penetrate the ball. You give it to Quansah to distribute the ball. It's not always Van Dijk hitting the long balls. They really trust Quansah. Good passer. He reminds me a lot of Sami Hyypiä as well. I'll give Quansah 7. Decent one rash-headed clearance straight at the opposition, gave him a chance. Van Dijk, also solid. He has leadership capabilities in abundance, and obviously he is very good at distributing long balls. Some of those ping balls around the corner, especially the one around the corner outside the fullback into Jota's feet, was absolutely sublime. He was solid in the air, defensively pretty good as well, but Burnley huffed, puffed and caused a lot of hassle in front of our defence. In fact, we were under the cosh in front of our defence for long periods of that game in the first half, but they held firm and, yeah, They got through on occasion, but luckily Burnley weren't clinical enough to make the most of it. Kelleher played a big part in that as well. Van Dijk gets a 7 on Robertson on the left-hand side, so he's back in the frame to start the match. Great to see our Our Scottish Braveheart, full of gusto, full of vibe. He goes up and down the left wing. But the problem with Robertson is, in our particular formation, in our particular setup, a lot of the times the fullbacks get shunted inside to give that extra option, right? Especially when Curtis Jones roams out to left, or Lucho Diaz drops back into left half space, left wing back slot. Robertson naturally has to invert into the inside, and when he's pinged the ball inside, he's technically lacking a little bit in inside to play the intricate balls or to play the ball through the lines or to do much with it. He's much better around the outside, whipping the ball in first time, or with a composed delivery as well. Robertson did some very good deliveries, including a good delivery from the right hand side, switching the play to the left hand side. So for endeavour, for huff and puff, for his energy, for his gusto, for his winning mentality and his composure, and he held the left hand side brilliantly because we didn't have much threat in the way of Burnley attacking us from their right, our left. So I give Robertson a 7, very nice and solid. Now Wataru Endo-sama, back from the Asia Cup, Captain Fantastic, Captain Tsubasa, Emperor Endo. He absolutely battered Burnley because the thing I love about Endo, right, and he's the only midfielder that I see in the whole Liverpool team doing this. If Jones is in front of him, or McAllister is in front of him, or even Szoboszlai or Gravenberch, which is why Gravenberch has the freedom to really express himself and plays well when Wataru Endo plays, he is in the shadow of our number 8 progressive player, even when he's got the ball, when he's off the ball in the press. If the opposition turn over the ball on our number 8, or the opposition press successfully against our number 8, or if we've got the ball and need an option, or if their opposition player is pressed by our number 8, if he breaks the lines of our number 8's press, Endo snaps in like a crocodile. He's in there and he wins like every challenge. He wins nearly every challenge in that short, snappy thing because you can't see him. He's a little bit smaller than our number 8, except for McAllister in this regard. But behind Jones, for example, the opposition gets past Jones, he snaps in, gets the ball and plays the ball, beats the first man in the press because the man is bypassed and Endo is on the front foot. So Endo is such a vital cog in our midfield, and I think Jurgen Klopp knows the importance of Wataru Endo. He intimated it in the press conference as well. When Wataru Endo plays and gives that defensive confidence and defensive reliability, our offensive players can really begin to play, and we can play them in more offensive positions, and we can put more offensive players in the pitch and in transition. There's no better reference and glowing reference than that from Jurgen Klopp to Wataru Endo. What a star. In fact, he's one of my free man of the matches. Yeah, I give Wataru Endo an 8.5 in this performance because he's snappy, he's probably a bit jet lagged, he's probably Endo in the pub from the birthday, Tanjobi Ometato. He's now 31, a young 31, so got lots of mileage left in his legs, and he really held our midfield together. He was the pick of the bunch for our midfielders in the first half, but in the second half, Curtis Jones came to prominence because Trent having gone off injured, Curtis Jones went to right back, and we had a very problematic time in right back getting the ball out into our players and making it stick. So Trent has to play the ball long. He's not got the creativity in his feet for those short tiki-taka, little turns, little pirouettes to play the 1-2s and get it back in a deep right back slot position. But Curtis Jones has. Curtis Jones was an absolute magician in that right back. This is a kind of total baller when you put De Bruyne there, if you put David Silva there, if you put Juan Mata there, Santi Cazorla, a lot of these little Spaniards, right? Bernardo Silva, all those little tricky players in and amongst the football pitch. No matter where you play them, they're going to hold on to the ball. They're going to find a player with the ball. They're going to do something productive with the ball. And Curtis Jones has the composure, even being pressed, to pirouette, to turn, to play the short pass to Kwanzaa, to play the short pass to Kelleher, to get the ball back and do something and progress the ball in terms of an accurate pass, not just a long ball or a lofted ball or chip ball or ball down the line. Curtis Jones, supreme baller. When he releases the ball quicker, we're very effective. And he tries to drive a bit. He drove a bit more in this particular match, which is positive to see. That's one of the criticisms I had against him for Arsenal. But yeah, Curtis Jones, amazing play for me. 8.5 as well. I really like that performance in the right back slot. In the left back slot, still a bit timid, didn't do too much progression, but I liked his overall game and very nice. Curtis Jones, 8.5. Okay, so we've done Jones, we've done Endo, Alexis McAllister, majestic McAllister. He got lost a bit in the first half. He had hardly any touches, and when he did find the ball, his first touch was a bit shaky, and he was pressed, and he doesn't have the speed to really get out of that position. And when he dribbles, he's not the fastest dribbler of the ball. He's very good at shifting the ball into right positions, but he can't dribble his way out of trouble, a la Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones. But he's a supreme ball player, and he did get the ball in good positions and occasions. He had the opportunity to shoot as well. He's not shy of a shot. I love that from little Ginger Ninja, taking over from Risa. But yeah, he was a bit subdued in the first half, and in the second half he came more to prominence, especially because we managed to invert players into that 10 position, into the Mazzala position. But yeah, not one of McAllister's finest games, and I give him a 6. He's actually more effective coming from 6 because he's got more space. This is the same conundrum that Trent has. When he has more time and space to roam into positions to collect the ball, he's more effective. In a number 8 position where he's going to get pressed, I want to see a little bit more from him. Obviously, he hasn't played that much this season in the number 8 position, but good things are yet to come. So solid 6 there. And Diogo Jota on the right-hand side. So he presses. He's a monster in pressing. He's always positive. He always goes right at the opposition. Very effective in that regard, but his dribbling isn't on point when he's got space to run into. He's not like your traditional silky winger. He's more in a congested space. He can ball around with the ball bobbling off his knee and ankle and left and right because he's two-footed as well. And he's very good at working the chance for the shot, but his shots just didn't find the net on this occasion, blocked by the opposition players. But he's like Luis Garcia. He always scores headed goals, and he's very, very dominant in the air. And actually, his size actually probably is a positive in this regard because people underestimate how high he can leap, his timing in the leap, and his ferocity and intensity in attacking the ball in the air. Rightfully got the headed goal. Trafford, I don't know what he was doing, went out of nowhere, claimed nothing, asked for a foul. No one even touched him. It might be a Burnley player that touched him. Jota slots it in, 1-0. Can always count for a goal, especially when Mo Salah is off the pitch, not available, hamstring injury. Jota steps up and gets the goals. He is our running down the wing Portuguese machine. Okay, Darwin Nunez, agent of chaos. He had a few chances. Lucho Diaz really should have slotted him in. I mean, that's the problem with Diaz. Diaz is a touch, play the ball. If he can get his head up, he'd be twice the player. And that's saying something because Lucho Diaz is a fantastic baller anyway. But yeah, on this occasion, Lucho Diaz couldn't get the ball out of his feet, couldn't get his head up on slide Darwin in, rightfully angry. But Darwin Nunez always makes things happen, whether it's for himself, whether it's for a teammate, whether it's opposition as well. They don't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on. If he doesn't know what's going on, no one knows what's going on, which is more fun, right? Which is what you really want to see, because in the metric charts in goal expectancy and goal creation, and what about goal creation per team when he is on the pitch, I'm sure that stat is sky high because of the fact that his physicality, he runs, he's an option. When you're 50-50 in the ball, when you're in trouble, you hit it into space where Darwin Nunez, on the side that Darwin Nunez is on, and you can relieve the pressure straight away because he'll fight with gusto for that ball. He'll probably get there, he'll hold it up, and he's really good. And sometimes it's so funny, the ball cannons off him on his own first touch, second touch, first touch, but he can retrieve it because of his physical attributes. And what can you do as a defender, right? You're like, he's miscontrolled. No, he's faster than me. He gets the ball anyway. Oh my god, it's bobbled. Oh, he's faster than me. He's got it anyway. What a player. I love this guy. He is a super fun striker. I wouldn't swap him for any striker in the world. Forget Mbappe. I don't care. Darwin Nunez is my number 9. Liverpool number 9. Darwin Nunez. He even played with 27, right? Because 2 + 7 = 9. It's all in his head. Yeah. And that finish. Cranking the neck behind him, turning it. He always scores the half chance. That deserves a goal and a half because poof, right into the side netting as well. That's the thing with the kind of striker Darwin Nunez is. He might not always be the most clinical, but he creates enough goal scoring chances that even if he's a 1 in 3 shot chance goal machine, he'll get the goals because he always gets those 3 chances anyway, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I love Darwin Nunez. Great endeavour. 8 for that. If he scored one more, 8.5, could have been man of the match. But his running, his pressing has very much improved this season, and I love it. That's why Klopp is playing him consistently. Darwin Nunez and Jota, pressing machines. Lucho Diaz, also pressing machine. Duracell bunny, up and down. He's got gusto. He goes in and out as well. He really likes to roam on the pitch, get on the ball. He's a baller, right? Naturally, the ball sticks to his feet. Little slaloms, little drops of the shoulders. He's always probing and pressing, and the opposition never get a rest with Lucho Diaz in there. Sliding, headed goal, fantastic. I really think he's very good at being the last late runner onto the end of a cross to get in there. He did it on opening day against Chelsea from Mo Salah outside the foot cross. He's a very good dummy runner, a last runner, and he finishes with aplomb as well. Very important player, but I still think he blows hot and cold sometimes. Sometimes he tries a bit too much, goes missing. He needs to rely on his teammates to get him into a good position to work the opening. He doesn't always need to work the opening himself, but it'll come in time. I think he's got a good relationship with Robbo because Robbo darts around the outside, screams his head off, Lucho plays him in, early cross, that kind of thing, or he's Robbo's the dummy runner, cut inside and take the shot, bring the defenders away. So very important, prominent part of our team. I give him a 7.5. And if we go into the subs, Harvey Elliott changed the game. Now, I really am a big fan of Harvey Elliott and what he can become. He's still a very young player. Is he 21 or something like that? This kind of left-footed technical maestro who's very well-rounded as a footballer, not the best defensively, but always goes back, tracks his runner, does what Klopp says. He's a function player. Jurgen Klopp brings him on for function, and he always delivers. To get into that half space, the Mo Salah space, wide right inverted pocket for Harvey Elliott, and he makes the magic happen, because first touch assured, he gets it out of his feet, scans his options, looks, he's a thinking man's player, and he plays the ball. Elliott can only play the ball and play well when other players around him are on the same wavelength in terms of intelligence and get into the right positions for him to play the ball. And you know where he's going to deliver it. He's very prominent at the front post delivery, also at the far post delivery. He actually pings pretty good balls because his left foot is very cultured, very, very technical. But as I said, he's very reliant on the players laterally running to make the gaps and open the spaces for him to play ball. He is a complete baller, but he's reliant on the team playing well. He hasn't got the pace of a Phil Foden, but he's of that kind of archetype prototype as well. I really like it. He can be a metronome on the right-hand side, constantly giving the ball, probing, making something happen, giving it to Salah, giving it to Jota, giving it to Diaz, whoever is on that space as well. He can interlink, and it's very, very good. He's got 2 assists in that game. He changed the game. Co-man of the match, Jones, Endo, and Elliott. They're my 3 man of the matches, all on 8.5. I really like it. In his limited time on the pitch, he did fantastically well. And actually, he's really good as an impact player. Sometimes you don't always have to start the game. You know your role, that when you come on and you can see the pitch, because he's a thinking man's player, he can see how Burnley set up and where the pockets are. And under Peter Krawietz and Linders and Klopp telling him exactly what to do in that moment and instructing the players where to go when he's on the pitch, he makes a big difference. I'm a real big fan of him. Obviously, he scored the winner against Crystal Palace, right? Probing in and then shooting left foot. He's got a good shot on him. Very, very useful player. Who else came on? McConnell. He's actually quite bulky, quite tanky, especially next to Bobby Clark. McConnell, Bobby Clark, Gakpo probed as well. Have one decent shot, always makes an effort. He's just got to really find his role and ability to make an impact in this particular team. But he'll come good. He's a good lad. He's got a good head on him, good mentality. And yes, I think overall Jurgen Klopp probably deserves a 7.5, if not 8 for that performance, because sometimes without the right personnel, you can't go with the existing patterns of play, you know, out to Mo Salah cutting in, Lucho Diaz cutting in, Nunez running the channels, etc. Szoboszlai getting to half space, taking a shot. Without that, sometimes you just have to show a bit of grit, a bit of dog in the fight. With Endo in there, is the biggest dog in the biggest fight, because it's always in there. Yeah. Thank you once again for joining the live stream. That was really, really fun. I love the interaction and chat and the banter. Watch it back. I'm sure the live chat will show up, right? I still don't know how all the settings work, but I'll give it my best shot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Miyazaki Man, Ichiban. This is a channel with substance in abundance. Thank you so much for supporting as always. Make sure to like the video as well. Helps the channel beat the algorithm and get seen. I'm actually recording on my phone in this particular occasion because I left the camera at home because I had to do it in the apartment. So thank you once again. Onwards and upwards. We're top of the table. Destiny is in our hands as well. We out-Burnleyed Burnley. We scored 3 headers against them. It wasn't always pretty, wasn't always clean. Burnley won a lot of 50-50 headers, especially in the first half, but we hung in there, we dug in deep, and you got to win games with your second string keeper, because if you can't do that, you're never going to win the league, and Kelleher is as good as anyone as a second string keeper. We showed a lot about us. Hopefully our injured boys come back very, very soon. I'm looking at you, Szoboszlai, Bajcetic back in training as well from next week, I believe. Thiago, yet to hear updates on him as well, but things are looking good, and it's a good time to be a Red. Janet.